Welcome one and all. This is the 2025 CFU Club Shield game number 1, coming to you live from the Larry Gomes Stadium in Arima, Trinidad. Two teams vying for the ultimate prize in this one. We will have the Guyana Defence Force FC taking on, out of St. Kitts, from the Northern Parish, St. Paul's Strikers. It's going to be an exciting one. This, as mentioned, the first match of this year's competition, the CFU Club Shield, and these two teams certainly with a point to prove. Definitely they have earned their way here. The Guyana team would have won the GFF Elite League 2024, and currently they sit 4th in the 2025 season at the midway stage, so they have all to prove here as to why they are the champions and deserving of a spot in this CFU competition. St. Paul's United Strikers on the other side, they also would have won their domestic competition in 2024, the St. Kitts and Nevis Premier Division, and here they are taking the field in the CFU Club Shield, hoping for, as all teams in this competition would be hoping for, to get to the final. And of course, that will elevate them into the CONCACAF Caribbean Cup. I'm Jassy Marik here, taking you through the scenes, sights, and sounds at the Larry Gomes Stadium as we see the captains taking the toss. The captain of this St. Kitts-based St. Paul's team, number 14, Omar Francis. Of course, the captain of the Guyana Defence Force, Colin Nelson. Many storylines through both sets of players. Colin Nelson, captain of the Guyana Defence Force, would have played here in Trinidad and Tobago in the domestic league, featuring for Caledonia AIA. He's one of at least 5 players in that lineup that would have represented Caledonia. Of course, the connection between Caledonia AIA and Guyana dating all the way back to the Caledonia team's inception in the 80s here in Trinidad. So too for St. Kitts and Nevis. One very familiar player to the local leagues here, Gerard Williams. Look out for him. He's the number 3 playing in defense. A long-time midfield hard man for the W Connection team of Trinidad and Tobago. Multi-time local champions. So he's certainly familiar with this territory. Today he's lining up in the back line for the St. Paul's Strikers, United Strikers. And he's alongside Ordell offensive rock Gerard Williams. As play resumes now, this is good looking ball from back to front. Niquan Phillips was the intended target. Throw in to the Guyana Defence Force. Bouncing around. And eventually taking charge of it is the St. Paul's. That's Freeman. Gets it to Kalonji, and Kalonji plays that one up, looking for Freeman on the return. Freeman gets it now, though. He has the overlap of Kalonji Clark. Kalonji Clark gets past his man. He's in. He'll have a shot, but just not getting the desired power and direction. In the end, a fairly comfortable save. The first of the day for Jermaine Cumberbatch in goal for the Guyana Defence Force. So, chances on either side now. Still 0-0, however. As play continues. The call from the spectatorship here is to continue going as we see play resume now with a throw-in for the Defence Force of Guyana. This is Nelson. Plays this one down the channel looking for the run of McDonald. It's going to be ushered out before McDonald actually commits the foul. There was no need to, really, as just let the St. Paul United defender off the hook. Quick throw in by the Defence Force. This is Bob. Nippy and very tricky player before that. No nonsense challenge coming in there from Niquan Phipps. Another goal kick for the St. Paul's United strikers. Not well directed at all. Results in a throw-in for the defense force. Amos Ramsey spent 5 years playing in Trinidad and Tobago in what would have then been the TT Pro League before its restructuring to become the Trinidad and Tobago Premier Football League. Of course, that 5 years spent with Caledonia AIA, a club well known to import players from around the Caribbean and specifically Guyana. One coming to mind would have been Gregory Richardson years ago, who plied his trade with Joe Public. But the Caledonia team, well known as a place of choice, home club of choice for Guyanese players in Trinidad and Tobago. Just trying to build those quick and slick passes, intricate passes. That time conceding a throw-in. This is played now into the chest of Freeman. Throw-in again now for St. Paul's. It's booted away. And all of a sudden, St. Paul's there on the defensive. This is a really interesting decision by Williams, but in the end, all's well that ends well. And here comes St. Paul's again before the intervention of Nelson to Ramsey now. And then cleared away. The player seemed to be coming back from an offside position was McDonald, as the referee indicates so now. Williams to Fleming. Fleming is asking for options. In the end, goes backward to Williams. This is Williams stepping inside his man. This is good stuff by the St. Paul's United strikers, but they force themselves back. It's a bit of an errant pass and then just give it away. And again, here come the defense force team from Guyana now. This is a good ball by Bob outside. It's a good cross. The bicycle kick comes in, and they just got in each other's way that time. That was McDonald, and the player coming in late was Chris Macy. St. Paul's coming forward now. This is Phipps. This is a good-looking ball in, asking for the intervention of Cumberbatch. He does so quite comfortably. Aims this one out toward Bob. Headed away. Bob takes it quickly, throwing toward McDonald. And they in themselves another throw-in higher up the pitch. It's going to be Bob. Instead, it's Jerome Harrigan at right wing back. This is a good ball. That's offside. Yeah. So McDonald just straying. To be fair, the pass wasn't toward him. So, for those of you just joining us or just able to join us, we do apologize for a loss of connection momentarily. But play continues now in this CFU Shield competition match number 1 between the champions, 2024 champions of Guyana and St. Kitts and Nevis respectively. The Guyana Defense Force in green and the St. Kitts team, St. Paul's United Strikers in red. So far, it's been An interesting first 16 minutes. The best chance of the first half so far falling to the Guyana Defence Force, as their front man Stephen McDonald was able to get around the St. Paul's goalkeeper. But his attempted shot at goal was cleared off the line spectacularly by Gerard Williams. On the other end, Kalonji Clark had a shot after breaking free of his defender for the St. Paul's team, but easily gobbled up by Jermaine Cumberbatch in goal for the Guyana Defence Force. So it's still all square here at 0 in the first half of this CFU Shield matchup. The Guyana Defence Force coming forward now, building all the way from the back. This one is played forward. Just a bit impatient. Picked up now by Shaquille Leader. Given away. And that's a good recovery challenge, but it's still not out of the woods just yet for St. Paul's. The shot coming in from Jerome Harrigan. Just not troubling Yuzal Hodge in goal for St. Paul's. They return possession to the Guyana Defence Force, and they also almost cheaply surrender it. It's now with Trayon Bob on that far side. He's gone down, but not anything untoward, as suggested by him and his protests. Instead, it's awarded as a goal kick for St. Paul's. Here comes the Defence Force again. They've had a fair share of possession, but just a bit rushed perhaps at times. As they try to break free now. This ball is played out toward Ian Docker. He just can't keep it in play. And again, another example of just a bit of wayward passing by the Guyana Defence Force in those crucial areas. Entering the attacking third, unable to compose themselves to any good effect. And here they come again, trying to pin St. Paul's United strikers backward. Throw in to the team in red from the islands of St. Kitts and Nevis, champions of the St. Kitts and Nevis Premier Division in 2024. Currently sitting in second in the 2025 season, St. Paul's United. Meanwhile, they are also taking on a champion team in this Guyana Defence Force FC unit. But the latter team disappointed to be fourth currently in the Guyana Football Federation Elite League at just about the midway stage of the season. But here they come, building through Bob. This is Bob looking toward Chris Macy. And he's well defended by a central midfield pairing. Siblings again from this, representing this St. Paul's team. The brothers Javon and Jackiel Leader forming a central defensive midfield partnership. And this time, another good exchange between Kalonji Clark and his forward, Keith Roy Freeman, before Freeman blasts it waywardly beyond the goal and out for a goal kick to the Guyana Defence Force. As we look at it one more time, I think he had a bit more time than he thought. Did Freeman. And this is Guyana again, the Defence Force building from the back. This is a good ball. Can he get onto it? Is McDonald. For a moment he thought about it, but he eventually decided against. A worthless spend of his energy. Allows it to go out of touch for a throw-in. Another throw-in here, but taken over by Omar Francis to his brother. So two pairs of siblings in this St. Paul's United Strikers lineup. Omar Francis in that right wing back position, and just ahead of him in the right wing position is his younger brother Kalonji Clark. And the other pair, look out for number 12 and number 30 for the boys in red. Javon and Jackiel Leader. This is one of them now. Jackiel, neat work, but it's turned over. And this now is Ian Docker for the Guyana Defence Force. He has two in attendance, get past one, and then just expertly ushered out of touch by Francis, Omar Francis that is. A bit of skill by Docker, but Omar Francis was wise to his tricks. So still goalless in first half play, just about the midway point of that first half between St. Paul's United Strikers in red and the Guyana Defence Force in green. This is Omar Francis now for the Strikers. Just gives away possession. Picked up by Shakem Welcome and recycled to his defensive pairing of Captain Colin Nelson. And then again, just turned over cheaply. Both teams guilty. This is Jackiel Leader. Try to play it over the top, asking for the run of Freeman, who gives him the thumbs up for the idea. Of course, the execution lacking. As now we have a cooling break, which allows the man just on screen, the coach of the Guyana Defence Force, to reel his players in. Doesn't seem to be too happy of a lad, Joseph Wilson. But he takes the opportunity now to regroup his forces. They've not had too bad of the opening exchanges here at the Larry Gomes Stadium. Of course, they've had the best opportunity of the match. A chance falling to Stefan McDonald, but he was unable to find a way beyond the retreating Gerard Williams for a goal line clearance on behalf of St. Paul's United Strikers. Meanwhile, they are under the instruction of their head coach, Thrizen Leader, and I'm told he's also a brother, the eldest of the three leaders in the St. Paul's team. Older brother of Javon and Jackiel, who are forming that central defensive midfield wall in front of the St. Paul's back four. Referee Ken Pennyfeather calls the teams back into bounds. For resumption, of course, play would have stopped at just about the midway point of the first half for a cooling break. It's customary now in the modern game, of course, as global warming and climate change takes its effects around the world. It's customary and has quickly become part of the game to see those cooling breaks, allowing players to refresh themselves and rehydrate, especially in the more temperate climates around the globe. Here in Trinidad and Tobago, no different. A bit of cover above formed by the clouds, but still quite humid. As we see now, St. Paul's United strikers on the charge. That's a good looking cross. Brought down by Kalonji Clark, and he was able to keep it in play. Recycles it to Nikwan Phipps, who tried to just chip the Guyana Defence Force goalkeeper, Jermaine Cumberbatch. And had he found the target, boy, oh boy, what a goal that would have been. As we take another look. Just tried to delicately clip it beyond the Cumberbatch, but he saw it all the way. There was no real danger as it was off target. So chances coming at a more frequent rate now for either team. But still, no goals to show. Approaching the half-hour mark. Just about 4 minutes before that half-hour mark in this first encounter of the 2025 CFU Club Shield here at the Larry Gomes Stadium, Arima, Trinidad. The Guyana Defence Force just allowing this one to bounce around. It could come to a chance for St. Paul. This is one of the leader brothers, Javon, trying to thread the needle for the run of, was it Phipps coming across from his position on the left-hand side as we look now at leader. Good composure. We just couldn't find that pass to Freeman, actually. But they'll settle for a corner kick. Corner kick is going to be an in-swinging one. Whipped in, but Cumberbatch comes bravely and claims. And sets them off through McDonald. Good recovery that time by the St. Paul's defender. And now they come again through the left-hand side. Heads go up looking for that pass. Unsuccessful. And here they come again. This is Williams now with the chance to settle his team. Plays it into the feet of Freeman. This is good skill by Freeman. To Francis. Virony Francis. And he just tries to... Well, that time the pass was actually by Darren Thomas trying to pick the run of Nikwan Phipps. Overhit in the end, and it's going to be a goal kick as they see the Guyana Defence Force resume. Yeah, that was some professional play by the Guyana Defence Force defender that time to restrict the movement of Omar Francis. But referee Pennyfeather spots it, and they are quick to resume play. Another ball chipped in toward Freeman for that hold up. Stoppage for an injury to the St. Paul's frontman, Keith Roy Freeman. Could it be that, or could it be the effects of the unrelenting sunshine here at the Larry Gomes Stadium? He's back on his feet. But again, as the rules dictate, he'll have to leave before the acknowledgement of referee Ken Pennyfeather to return to play. Meanwhile, this is the Guyana Defence Force It's with Osborne to his goalkeeper Cumberbatch, and this now is captain Colin Nelson. Goes over the top asking McDonald to give chase, and he quickly changes his mind as it runs out of play for a goal kick to St. Paul's United. Gerard Williams drops into position to receive. He plays this one up toward Freeman. And they lose out. This is Kalunji Clark. He's trying to play this one around the corner. Did get it past the defender, but Cumberbatch was alert to the danger and came out to make the clearance. And now it's all the way back to his opposite number, Yuzal Hodge, in goal for St. Paul's United strikers. He'll take the opportunity to slow the tempo a bit, despite the attentions of Stephen McDonald for the Guyana Defense Force. This now is Jackie Alida. Plays it back to Darren Thomas, or rather Fleming. This is Thomas now on the charge. Nickwan Phipps is given a nudge in the back by Treyon Bob. They resume now. St. Paul's. This is Williams. To his outside is Omar Francis, who darts off now on an overlap. But again, just a bit too much on it from Williams. And just to usher it out of touch is Cedric Osborne coming across from his left central defensive position for the Guyana Defense Force. This is Osborne again. Launches it upfield, but only out of play for a throw into the St. Paul's United strikers. Francis impeded that time, and the ball just kicked away by McDonald. He's just shy of finding his way into the referee's notebook, but certainly he would have been given a warning for his act of petulance, as now the strikers tried to come forward that time. The ball just turned over to the Guyana Defense Force. This is Osborne. Gets it back across to Colin Nelson. With not too many options ahead, Osborne gets it back to his outside. He has Ramsey. Instead goes long and over the top. It could fall kindly, but instead it's headed away by Williams, and this is a shot coming in, forcing a full stretch save. And another fingertip save to put it over the bar by Yuzal Hodge. Another chance for the Guyana Defense Force. The first effort forcing a save from Stephen McDonald. Hodge was equal to it to parry it away, and then after Bob retrieved it, McDonald had another bite with a fingertip save, but this could be in. Somehow it stays out. The in-swinging corner just providing a lot of discomfort for this St. Paul's United defense. Still can't get it clear. They do so now. This is Phipps, and he just pokes it away as he attempted to avoid the challenge. So the Guyana Defense Force with back-to-back-to-back chances, just about 10 minutes away from the expiration of the first half, still looking for a goal to separate themselves from the St. Kitts and Nevis Premier Division champions, St. Paul's United strikers. So they've become a bit more patient, the Guyana Defense Force, building from the back. This is Osborne. He's allowed to enter into enemy territory. Plays this one out to Ducker. Ducker gets inside his man, tries to beat another, and in the end, just can't get by the very robust frame of Jovan Leader. Throw into the Guyana Defense Force. This is Ducker. Again, Gerard Williams stands in his way and plays this one up now to Freeman. He hands it off to Byron A. Francis. This is Phipps now. Phipps with Freeman across goal. Good defending by Colin Nelson, the Guyana Defense Force captain, but it's still with the St. Paul Strikers before it's cleared away by the hard-working Jerome Harrigan for the Guyana Defense Force, and he's fouled in the process. This is McDonald off on another charge. He has Williams in attendance. He doesn't grant too much time and space, Williams. He gets very tight to his man. McDonald swings the cross in still, though. The heads go up. Falls to Bob. Bob tries to go past Darren Thomas, who does well to clear it off of the Guyana Defense Force winger. And out for a goal kick to St. Paul's United Strikers. So this one is just kicked away to no real target. There was no one in the vicinity of the pass. And again, possession just cheaply given away by this St. Paul's team, allowing the Guyana Defense Force to come forward now through Osborne. He spots the run of Bob, but it's a bit too close to Hodge in goal for St. Paul's, and he just escorts it out of play for a goal kick. Another goal kick here to the St. Kitts and Nevis Premier Division champs. So just about 11 minutes remaining in the first half of this match number one on match day one of the CFU Club Shield 2025. Guyana Defense Force still trying to find a way to break down this St. Paul's team. This is Osborne again. He's seen quite a lot of it recently and just not on the same page as McDonald that time, and they turn over possession before the attempted pass by Kalonji Clark is charged down, and this now is the Guyana Defense Force. Could it be? What a save that was from Yuzal Hodge, cutting the angle quite early there to spot the danger or the threat posed by Macy, the number 9 for the Guyana Defense Force, who was bearing down on goal after being slipped through by McDonald. That time the corner kick just fizzing by all green uniforms. That was the opportunity moments ago for the little number 9 for the Guyana Defense Force, Chris Macy, drawing a save, a reaction save out of Yuzal Hodge to keep scores tied, moving into the 42nd minute here at the Larry Gomes Stadium in Malabar Arima. Here they come again, the St. Paul's United team. And that one is cleared away by the Guyana Defence Force captain, Colin Nelson. And Hodge now again takes the opportunity to just calm things a bit by holding on to possession. He's closed down by McDonald, and he's now urging his men forward to press a bit higher. They've been playing in a quite low block, which has allowed the Guyana Defence Force team to come forward relatively easily, crafting quite a number of opportunities in this first half, but they have to try to get onto the front foot, this St. Paul's United team. In fairness, they also have had some moments where they were able to breach the Guyana Defence Force defenders and defensive line, but unable to really trouble Jermaine Cumberbatch, who is in goal for the men in green and yellow. Could this be the moment as Kalonji Clark stands over the free kick? He has 6 players in red to aim for, and he does pick out the head of Freeman. But with his back to goal, it would have taken something pretty special to fashion a chance to trouble Cumberbatch. Back in possession now are the strikers. It's all the way back to Fleming. Here now is Williams, and they have clearly tried to come onto the front foot a bit more now, the St. Paul's team. This is just touched back to Williams, and calmly steps through 3 to get it to Fleming. Fleming now has Phipps, and he's trying to turn it around the corner quickly, but in the end just hands over possession. This is another ball looking for McDonald. This has been the obvious strategy and game plan for the Guyana Defence Force, and McDonald has a shy from a quite acute angle. Hodge seemed to be in a bit of trouble, somehow getting himself wrapped up in the net. As we look at it one more time, snapshot out of nowhere, but one would have expected, had it been on target, that Hodge would have been able to make a fairly comfortable save. Fleming. This is Phipps. So moving into 1 minute remaining of regulation time in this first period. Still scoreless between the Guyana Defence Force and the St. Paul's United Strikers, who are in possession now. This is Phipps, but he's robbed of it by Harrigan, who is eventually tripped up. Sportingly assisted back to his feet. But not so lucky is the man out wide. That's Docker, who's switched sides now for the Guyana Defence Force. Treyon Bob, who would have started out on the right side of a front 3, is now over on this near side, just below the commentary position, trying to affect proceedings from a different perspective. So, still, no goals as we are at the expiration mark of this first period. Referee Pennyfeather will give the instruction to his 4th official of how many minutes should be added to this first period. In the meantime, a free kick is given to the Guyana Defence Force as we see 3 minutes of first half stoppage time allowed at the end of this period. 3 minutes more for either the Guyana Defence Force or St. Paul's United Strikers to take the lead in this one. This is a good looking ball toward Kalonji Clark, but just doesn't have the legs to catch it. Thumbs up from him for the instinctive switch of play. McDonald now drops deep. Just can't pick out the requisite pass, and Williams clears this one away. This is Phipps now picking up the rebound, and he's trying to clip it toward Freeman. Freeman! And another good save from Cumberbatch. Making himself big, cutting the angle. And that time it was actually Virane Francis, the number 10 for St. Paul's United. Just at the end of the first half, he had the opportunity to send his team into the locker room with a lead. Still might, but not that time, as it's cleared away by Osborne for the Guyana Defence Force. This is Omar Francis now to Clark. Clark will whip this one in with his left foot. This is Phipps trying to get it on target, but can't do so. Goal kick. So 2 minutes played of the 3 minutes added on time at the end of this first period. No goals to show just yet. But the St. Paul's United strikers are coming forward and stifling their Guyanese opponents. But that time possession is given away to Harrigan. Good skill. Draws the foul. There is Macy. So just about 30 seconds, or a little more than, left. This is Bob. Bob gets the better of Francis. It's off the body of Francis. It's a handball. And referee Pennyfeather was right on spot. There could be no argument really, as Bob was able to twist this man, put him to the floor, and just try to recover his footing. Omar Francis used his hand. As we look again, this is Bob Francis with the slip, and as he got back to his feet and tried to hold down Bob, tried to close him down. See the ball striking his outstretched left hand. And really and truly no arguments really, as the rules clearly state, as long as the arm is away from the body and making the body intentionally or even unintentionally bigger in obstructing play, it has to be a handball. So Colin Nelson, the big defender for the Guyana Defence Force, and the captain, takes responsibility for this penalty kick right at the death of first half play. Referee Pennyfeather ensures that the ball is properly spotted and all players are warned about infringing or encroaching on the penalty area before the kick is taken. This is Colin Nelson. Can he? He does. Calmly slotted away. Colin Nelson, just at the end of the first half in this match number 1 of the 2025 CFU Club Shield, gives the Guyana Defence Force a well-deserved lead. They've knocked, and eventually they push their way through into a lead here. Nelson sending Uzal Hodge the wrong direction and slotting it in for the 1-0 lead. So it's happened just at the end of the first half. Not even enough time for the St. Paul's United team to launch a counter-offensive before referee Pennyfeather blows the whistle to bring the first half to a close. Francis pleads his case one more time. This is an exercise in futility, if ever there was one, as Francis tries to make a case for himself to referee Pennyfeather. But really and truly, there could be no argument about that decision for the penalty kick awarded just at the end of first half stoppage time. Referee Pennyfeather, the man in focus, as first half action comes to a close here at the Larry Gomes Stadium. It's match number 1 of the CFU Club Shield.
not simply about how many games you win, but more about how many lives you touch. This is why we do it.
Because football is life.
Because we know firsthand the power of football can positively change lives.
Because there's nothing else we'd rather do.
Because our hearts beat football.
Because there's nothing quite like representing your country.
For the love of the game.
Por el amor.
Pour l'amour.
I'd leave the voix.
For the love of the beautiful game.
Protection that moves to your beat. Protect your home with Armor Security. With 24/7 monitoring, instant alerts, motion sensors, and rapid response, you and your loved ones stay protected day and night. Sign up for the Protector or Commander package today and get a free security camera and installation. Armor Security, powered by Flow, in partnership with All Pro Security. We keep your rhythm flowing. Visit us in-store or online at discoverflow.co for more details.
Welcome back to the Larry Gomes Stadium, Malabar Arena in East Trinidad. It is halftime in match number 1 of the 2025 CFU Club Shield competition. And of course, that match is being played between the St. Paul's United FC out of St. Kitts and Nevis and the Guyana Defence Force. Currently, the Guyana Defence Force with a 1-0 lead. A goal scored in the 4th minute of first half stoppage time from the penalty spot by their captain, Colin Nelson. The CFU Club Shield is certainly brought to you courtesy the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association, hosts of the 2025 CFU Club Shield. The internet is powered by Flow. The 2025 CFU Under 14 Challenge Series Girls will be played next month right here in Trinidad and Tobago from August 15th to 24th. So stay plugged into all CFU resources. The CFU Club Shield is organized by the Caribbean Football Union. And of course, the CFU is the umbrella organization for the 31 member associations in the English, Dutch, French, and Spanish-speaking Caribbean. So we are moments away from second half kickoff here in match number 1 of the 2025 CFU Club Shield tournament. It's St. Paul's United Strikers trailing the Guyana Defence Force 1-0. Again, that goal scored by the GDF captain Colin Nelson in the 4th minute of first half stoppage time. It's going to be a long way back for this team out of St. Kitts and Nevis. They've set themselves up in a pretty low defensive block position, allowing the Guyana Defence Force to have possession and to move into the space in front of them. But despite trailing 1-0, it certainly can be said that the St. Paul's United team have been able to frustrate the Guyana Defence Force unit to some degree, as they've found it difficult to find those pockets of spaces in and around the penalty area, save and except for that moment of individual brilliance from Trayon Bob that led to the handball of the captain of the St. Paul's team, Omar Francis, and of course resulting in a penalty awarded by referee Pennyfeather, the man with the whistle, who is just about to signal the start of this second half. And there we have it. The ball is with the Guyana Defence Force. This is Osborne, their left-sided centre-back. Again, allowed to just bring the ball up into, or just outside of the half-line area. And of course, decent enough pass. It's back with Osborne now. This is Bob, who's switched positions from the starting the game on the outside right, and now he's on the outside left. This is Nelson. He picks out his man in acres of space, but unable to bring it under his control was Macy. This is Bob again now. It's back to Macy. Macy has the run of Stephon McDonald. It was just a bit behind him, the pass, allowing the St. Paul's United team to clear. This is Osborne coming under pressure from Keith Roy Freeman and eventually concedes a throw-in. It's quickly taken, but Osborne spots it. This is Kalonji Clark dancing his way and crossing a dangerous ball in. Freeman almost getting on the end of it, and it seemed to surprise Cumberbatch as it just ricocheted off his chest, his arms, and then up into the air before he tipped it over the bar, opting for safety as it dropped dangerously close to his goal line. Corner now, swung in by Kalonji Clark, and Cumberbatch with a more assured grab. And he's looking to launch the defense force upfield now, but only as far as the retreating Fleming. And it's back now with Clark. He's a tricky customer, but he's not going to get much joy in and behind the left-sided defender for the Guyana Defense Force that time, Amos Ramsey. This is Osborne again. Plays this one out to Bob. Bob inside now to Welcome. And Welcome plays it back to Osborne. Bob again. It's hustled out of it by Omar Francis. This now is Fleming. Fleming just wriggles free of the attentions of two Guyana Defense Force players. Gets it out to Gerard Williams. This is Freeman trying to flick it on, but it's turned over, and now picking it up is Docker. Docker on the charge. On the outside is Bob, who joins the attack now, but just is unable to bring it under his control. Throw into St. Paul's. This is Francis to his brother, Kalonji Clark. Freeman now just touches it around the corner to Leader. Bob keeps it in play, and this now is Leader. Jackie Leader, that is. And here comes now Virony Francis, forcing Cumberbatch into an evasive maneuver. Freeman now. Back out to Clark. Clark skips past one. Plays it in. Shouts go up for handball down on the St. Paul's bench, but referee Pennyfeather instead instructs that this is going to be a corner kick to St. Paul's. Clark again will take charge of it as he awaits the arrival of Jackie Leader. Swings it in, but it's headed away. Only as far as Francis, who gets it back out wide to Clark. And it's booted high into the Arima sky by Docker. The quick throw in. Turns possession back over to the Guyana Defense Force. And they begin now. This is Nelson. Nelson. Not much happening ahead of him. Keeps possession. Shuffles it across to Osborne. Osborne goes back to goalkeeper Cumberbatch. Nelson. So quite content with a 1-0 lead to ask the St. Paul team to press them. And St. Paul a bit hesitant to do so. But now they find a channel, a pocket of space into the feet of McDonald. Well defended by St. Paul, and here they come now through Fleming. Guyana Defense Force pressing a bit higher than their opponents would have. This is Jackie Leader. Turns it around the corner toward Thomas, and he allows it to run out of play for a throw-in. This is Francis. Clears it away at the second time of asking, but only as far as Welcome. And now Osborne with a flying clearance. This is Bob. Good skill to bring it under his spell. Over comes that time Williams to defend. And he entices Bob into a nudge in the back that leads to a free kick. And now a throw-in for St. Paul's. Freeman. Clark. This is Bob now for the defense force. Plays it forward. This is Thomas. Forced all the way back to Hodge. And an awkward clearance by him. And this is then booted upfield by Fleming. That's a foul, says referee Pennyfeather, committed by McDonald. This is Javon Leader to Fleming. Into the feet of Phipps. And he's robbed of possession. This is a good ball, asking McDonald to give chase. Fleming goes the option of safety first. When in doubt, kick it out. And he goes down, asking for a free kick. Gets it from referee Pennyfeather, as there was a bit of a charge in the back. I felt it was more shoulder to shoulder. Referee Pennyfeather has a much better vantage point. He's awarded a free kick to St. Paul's. So just coming up on 10 minutes played in the second half. Still, it's the Guyana Defence Force 1, St. Paul's United Strikers 0, here at the Larry Gomes Stadium in Arima. Match number 1 of the 2025 CFU Club Shield. Kalonji Clark trying to switch the play, the point of attack, but Darren Thomas just didn't have the legs to catch on. And again, possession handed back to the Guyana Defence Force. Throw in on this near side. It's Harrigan, 3 ahead of him, including McDonald. Can't quite control it, and it's brought forward by Leader. That's Jovan Leader. This is Jackie Leader now. Sprays it wide to Thomas. Ahead of him is Phipps. Goes inside instead to Leader, and he's brought to the ground. Foul committed by Shamar Scott. This is Bob. Good skill to get by his man. He's fouled in the process. Treon Bob, from his time here in the Trinidad and Tobago domestic leagues with Caledonia AIA, known to be very nimble and very nippy outside attacking player, and that time bringing his skill to bear before he was tripped up by the retreating St. Paul's defense. Free kick now to the Guyana Defence Force. Ramsey will go back to Osborne. Osborne now into the feet of Welcome. Gets it back, does Osborne. And it's wide again with Ramsey. Bob drops deep. He cycles it to Osborne. Osborne uses the space afforded, but just can't clear the defender right in front of him. This is Freeman now, and a good ball over the top for Kalonji Clark. Can he get a hold of it? He does so now, and then it's emphatically cleared away by Ramsey for a corner kick to St. Paul's. So they've had their fair share of set pieces. The boys from St. Kitts and Nevis, from the northern part of St. Kitts and Nevis, the northern parish of St. Paul's, Capis there. But again, this free kick comes to naught, and it's brought away now by the Guyana Defence Force before Omar Francis intervenes and nips it in the bud. A potential counter-attack. Here's Bob, gets past one, gets it into the feet now of Macy and gets it back. Is Bob. He has McDonald streaming in for the back post, and then he attempts to cut it back. No one was there. Good idea. And this is a shot from way outside by Scott. Shamar Scott also would have played for a period of time at Caledonia AIA in Trinidad and Tobago. This is the Guyana Defense Force again. This ball is bouncing, a tricky one over the top, and then well defended by Williams and calmly headed back into the arms of Hodge by that time Jovan Leader, Jackia Leader rather. A man is still down inside the St. Paul's penalty area. That is Stefan McDonald, signaling to his medical staff perhaps that he may not be able to carry on. He needs more urgent attention than perhaps just the trusted magic spray. In the meantime, substitution, Guyana Defense Force. The man leaving the pitch will be Treyon Bob. And in his place, number 12, that's Quincy Fraser. So again, substitution. Guyana Defense Force, out is Treyon Bob, number 24, and in his place, number 12, Quincy Fraser. Visible distress just inside and to the left of the penalty area. So 60 minutes have gone, 61 now, moving into the 62nd. It's the Guyana Defense Force leading St. Paul's United Strikers 1-0, a goal scored in the 4th minute of first half stoppage time by the Guyana Defense Force captain Colin Nelson from the penalty spot after his opposite number Omar Francis was guilty of a handball inside the penalty area. Nelson was able to step up and quite calmly stroked it past Yuzal Hodge in goal for the Strikers, sending him the wrong way and giving the Guyana Defense Force a well-deserved 1-0 lead heading into the break. Since then, It's been fairly even in terms of chances created, but the Guyana Defence Force have certainly looked the more comfortable of teams in possession, at least willing to take their time in the build-up, more so than they did in the first half, where they were often guilty of rushing themselves into trying to pick that final pass. This time, though, they've relied a lot more heavily on the ball carrying skills and abilities of their wingers, especially on the left side, Treyon Bob, who was substituted in the 58th minute, and on the right side they've relied on Ian Docker, as well as playing it into their front man, number 25, that's Stefan McDonald, asking him to hold it up and allow the midfield to joining him in the attack. Still, a 1-0 lead is certainly no safe lead, and consolidation will very well be on the minds of the Guyana Defence Force players. Meanwhile, here they come. Again, you employing that strategy to play it into McDonald. And also asking fellow attackers to get close to him, trying to pick up those second balls, those second chances. This is St. Paul's now. This is Phipps. Possession given away. Phipps still in the battle, and he earns a free kick, taken quickly by Virane Francis, and then spread wide to Kalonji Clark. This is Omar Francis now, the St. Paul's United captain. Shaquiel leader. Again, just wayward that time. He had several options, including Gerard Williams and Odell Fleming across his back line. And then bypassed his midfield entirely, looking for something further up front, further ahead, to no avail. And here they come again now, St. Paul's United. This is a ball aiming towards Francis. Osborne comes across, and then it's out of play for a throw-in off Freeman, Keith Roy Freeman. This is Harrigan, asked to retreat somewhat to the actual point of this ball going out of touch for the throw-in. The Guyana Defence Force will make, or attempt to make, another substitution. The player leaving the field, Shakem Welcome, and he is being replaced by number 10. That's Pernell Schultz. So again, out is Shakem Welcome, and in is Pernell Schultz for the Guyana Defence Force. Schultz, another one of those players who played some degree of football locally in Trinidad and Tobago with Caledonia AIA. Good composure shown by Hodge in goal for the St. Paul's team, and now they are on the attack. This is Freeman, Keith Roy Freeman. Osborne can't get a handle, and again Cumberbatch needed 2 attempts to secure this dangerous cross, with Kalonji Clark lurking not too far away. Completes the save, not very convincingly, it must be said. And this time, good work to just leave his man for dead. Docker. And as he slipped the pass through to McDonald, he had straight into an offside position. Let off the hook that time, St. Paul strikers, but this is McDonald again, and trying to find the run of Macy. A bit too much meat on it, and it's into the ever grateful arms of Yuzal Hodge. He launches it forward now, and it's cleared again. This now is Quincy Fraser. Fleming. Fleming still dangerously walking a tight rope, but gets it to Gerard Williams, who is launching this one forward. And on his bike is Kalonji Clark. Kalonji Clark goes to ground, but he had been guilty of using his hands illegally, tugging at Ramsey. Meanwhile, off the ball, Cumberbatch goes to ground as we get a closer inspection of what took place that time. And you see here just there, the arm of Kalonji Clark went around the head of Ramsey, and referee Pennyfeather spotted the danger and blew for a foul rather than a penalty, as some may have been fooled into thinking. Cumberbatch is the man down. He went to ground off the ball, so it's not quite certain what his affliction might be at this time, but you see the stretcher has been called for. 2 of them, it seems, for one player. Not sure how this will quite work out. But could it just be a bit of exhaustion, dehydration maybe, as he's sprawled out there inside the 6-yard area? He went to ground quite suddenly and off the ball, as they say. So again, it's anyone's guess at this point what the issue might be, but it seems as though he is going to be removed from the field of play and replaced down beneath us. The Guyana Defense Force substitute goalkeeper is warming up, and that is said to be Duquesne Samuels. So it could be his opportunity to shine. Of course, should he come in for duty, it means he'll be charged with protecting and maintaining the clean sheet that the Guyana Defense Force currently enjoys. They lead the St. Paul's United Strikers 1-0, coming on to 70 minutes played, 20 minutes remaining of regulation time, in which the St. Paul's United Strikers would like to address the scoreline. They are trailing 1-0. That goal scored in the 4th minute of first half, added on time by Guyana Defense Force captain Colin Nelson. Just there we saw an image of the Guyana Defense Force goalkeeper, Jermaine Cumberbatch, as he was taken straight to the ambulance. So we're hoping it's not too serious. Again, it was a sudden collapse to the ground, which led to his withdrawal, and now we are seeing the substitution being confirmed. Cumberbatch is out, and his replacement, number 18, Duquesne Samuels, comes in. So 1-0 still to the Guyana Defense Force as they resume play. Now with a free kick, it's Osborne, dumps it forward. Docker tries to challenge, still not quite clear, and they get it further afield now, but it's coming back toward them, the Guyana Defense Force back line. This is Leader, goes back to Fleming, and Fleming just lumps this one forward. Still with them, the St. Paul's team. That's Leader with a uncompromising hack to get it away. And here they come again now along this left side. This is Phipps. Harrigan is there though, and just manages to clear it away for a throw-in to the St. Paul's Strikers United. Heads go up. Across comes Osborne, and here they come now on the charge. The Guyana Defense Force holding his line is McDonald. It's with Ducker. Ducker cuts inside. He has Schultz in support, and Fraser who gets it now, but that's an errant touch, allowing Darren Thomas and Omar Francis in combination to get it away for the St. Paul's strikers. But they give it right back. This is Schultz. Schultz now to Scott, and he was trying to find McDonald. But here they come again now. This is Harrigan, but it's with the strikers. Down goes Phipps under a heavy challenge from Harrigan. So entering the 74th minute in this match number 1 of the CFU Club Shield here at the Larry Gomes Stadium in Malabar Arima, Trinidad. The Guyana Defense Force with a 1-0 lead, a slender lead at that. But here they go again, trying to add to it. This is giving chase Ducker, but it's well defended by Omar Francis. Back to his goalkeeper, Hodge, who clears it forward. Beneath it is the goal scorer for the Guyana Defense Force, Nelson. But they return possession now to Leader, and he gives it right back. This is Macy. Macy has 2 ahead of him. He tries to do it himself. But possession is back with the strikers, Gerard Williams, and he's overly apologetic after that wayward pass. Here comes Ducker again now. Ducker versus Francis. It's turning out to be quite the duel between them. And again, Francis gets the better of the dangerous Guyana Defense Force winger. This one is launched forward. Harrigan is beneath it. Completes the headed clearance. Scott now to Fraser, the substitute, and he reverses it toward McDonald. Here comes Hodge though, and he gets it away up to Kalonji Clark. Kalonji Clark with several players in support, including Fleming, who shifts it along now to Darren Thomas. So here come the strikers on the front foot for pretty much the first time in this period. And a strong challenge coming in from Harrigan. Manages to get the danger away, but it's corner kick to the St. Paul strikers, who are now making a substitution of their own. Out is number 10, Virone Francis. In number 22, that's Deontay Liebert. So again, Virone Francis, the number 10. His evening is done, and Deontay Liebert is his replacement. And also done for the day, number 45, Niquan Phipps. And he is replaced by Karik Thomas. So double substitution by the St. Paul strikers as they try to get themselves back into this one. It's a corner kick meantime by Jovan Leader. It's cleared away and right back to him. He'll have a second bite. Lifts this one in, and out comes Samuels. Does get his hands to it, but he's fouled in the process. Free kick to the Guyana Defense Force. So he came bravely. Up went the heads, and that was Jovan Leader beneath it, clattering into the substitute GDF, Guyana Defense Force goalkeeper, and surrendering a free kick. This latest free kick is to the Guyana Defense Force. This is Ducker. Ducker has certainly made himself a menace in this second half. Plays it toward Macy, who goes down, clutching his face, and The yellow card is shown to Leader. That's Jovan Leader for the St. Paul's Strikers. Guilty of striking the GDF number 9 in his face, as he's just gesturing there what would have happened, saying that there was an elbow in the play. The free kick awarded to the Guyana Defense Force. So moving up toward the 79th minute. Free kick to the Guyana Defense Force. The overseer is the aggrieved player, number 9, Macy. He's going for a left foot around the wall, does get it, and then juggling save there from Hodge. Yuzal Hodge eventually gathering, about the third time of asking. He went up and over the wall, Macy. But in the end, Hodge doing what was necessary to make the save. Here come the strikers now. This is Clark looking for the run of Liebert. Liebert checks back. Clark again gets it back now. Liebert, 2 to aim for across the box. It's a deep cross and way out of the reach of his fellow substitute Karik Thomas, and out for another throw in now to the Guyana Defense Force. So we are entering the 80th minute. 10 minutes of normal time left. 10 minutes for either the Guyana Defense Force to add to their slender lead, or for the St. Paul's Strikers to equalize. They almost created something that time. Clark was the man sniffing around. But this is another giveaway. Schultz calmly out to Docker. He has the run of McDonald ahead of him. This is good play by the Guyana Defense Force. McDonald now, he has the run of Fraser, and Schultz is arriving late along this near side. Schultz brings it down onto his left foot. He had a thought or two about going for the strike. Eventually did, but put it over the bar, much to his and his teammates' disappointment. Was that a handball? Suspiciously, the ball rolled up the leg of Fleming. And it looked suspiciously like a handball. Referee Pennyfeather not willing to acknowledge. And his assistant referee on this near side, or assistant referee one, Dwight Cummings, also didn't see any need to penalize Fleming. McDonald is the latest player down after a heavy collision with the St. Paul's defender. Was it Williams? So he is back on his feet, but gingerly walks toward the sideline after requiring a bit of treatment. He'll await referee Pennyfeather's instruction before being able to return to play. This now is a drop ball for the Guyana Defense Force. It's with goalkeeper Duquesne Samuels. Not the best of clearances, but still. The retreating Docker is able to gather it up and get it back to his central defender, and it's now all the way back into St. Paul's territory with Hodge onto Williams, and then Leader to Fleming. Fleming now getting himself in a bit of a tangle. This is Hodge. Calmly gets it to Darren Thomas. Thomas advances. Skips past the challenge of Scott. Plays it infield now to Thomas and gets it back. Ooh. Just left it behind him. The pass from Thomas to Thomas. Karik to Darren. Or Darren rather. Darren Thomas from Karik Thomas. Unable to connect that time. This now is Fraser to Harrigan for the Guyana Defence Force. He clips it toward McDonald. It's a bit over him. And across steps Williams to intervene. And recycles it to Hodge. It's back with the GDF now. This is McDonald. Does he spot his man off his line? He's trying to find the run of Docker. Continuing on that left-hand side. Just can't quite connect. Another goal kick. Play restarted by Hodge to Fleming. He has Darren Thomas, who just can't quite control. This now is Macy. Again, just turning possession over. Hodge scrambles across to retrieve. Plays this one up now to Kalungi Clark. This is Jackiel, leader, Fraser, Schultz. This ball is looking for the run of Docker. Docker, does he get there now? The flag goes up for offside. So he had just straight offside as he attempted to sneak in for the earlier pass. And then as it rose into the air and was headed on by McDonald, he had already gone beyond the defensive line. This now is Fleming. Fleming is booting this one out toward Liebert on that far side. Can't quite keep it in touch. Throw into the Guyana Defence Force. McDonald drifts out to the left and plays it off Omar Francis for a corner kick rather, to the Guyana Defence Force. So still a narrow lead held by the Guyana Defence Force, which explains why Docker may be in no real rush to execute this latest set piece, a corner kick in the 85th minute for the Guyana Defence Force. Can they extend it? It's headed away by Darren Thomas for the Strikers. And they are living dangerously. Can't quite clear it. And Freeman now does get it away to Kalungi. If he can look up, you'll see the run of Karik Thomas. Karik Thomas is storming in, but here comes a defensive effort worth mentioning by number 9 for the Guyana Defence Force. That was Macy. He put everything into that long busting retreating run, and that put Karik Thomas off. He just dwelled a bit too long on it before deciding what he wanted to do, and it just results in an opportunity that goes a-begging. Here they come again with Karik Thomas, trying to connect with Freeman, and then the Guyana Defence Force defender Osborne puts it out of play as he spots 2 of his teammates further upfield in distress. One of them being his defensive partner and captain, Colin Nelson, who is seated on the seat of his pants near the St. Paul's penalty spot, and the other closer to the near side touchline looks to be Quincy Fraser. So 2 Guyana Defence Force players down, injured, as we have less than 4 minutes remaining, 3.5 in this match. It's the Guyana Defence Force leading 1-0. They took a lead 4 minutes into first half stoppage time. Interestingly, only 3 minutes of first half stoppage time were granted. However, a handball infringement by the St. Paul's captain, Omar Francis, in just around the second minute of those 3 minutes added on, led to a penalty, and by the time it was stroked home calmly by Colin Nelson, who sent the opposing goalkeeper the wrong way. 4 minutes of stoppage time had been played. It was essentially the final act of the first half as the Guyana Defence Force went into the break with that 1-0 lead, a lead which they have so far maintained up until now, the 88th minute. There's been a bit of a stoppage here as Nelson remains down and is being attended to near the opposing goal. As a matter of fact, he as well is being loaded onto the stretcher, and it seems as though this is the end of his contribution to match number 1 in the 2025 CFU Club Shield. The battle-seasoned captain of the Guyana Defence Force, well familiar with local venues such as the Larry Gomes Stadium here in Arima from his time with Caledonia AIA in the local leagues, then the TT Pro League, and for the last 3 years has become known as the Trinidad and Tobago Premier Football League. He will not be immediately replaced. For now, the Guyana Defence Force are down to actually 9 men because another of their players who went down injured a short while ago is only now re-entering play. That's Quincy Fraser. And the frustrations of the St. Paul's supporting party and even their bench being expressed at that another cheap giveaway of possession, leading to a goal kick for the Guyana Defence Force. Here they come again. This is a ball being sprayed forward by Gerard Williams. Speared out toward Deontay Liebert. It's a throw-in for the St. Paul's strikers. Picked up now by Ramsey. Flicked on. This is Docker. Gets it up to McDonald. On the outside, he has Schultz. Just left it a bit short. Here they come now through Macy. The fourth official displays 6 minutes. 6 minutes of additional time or stoppage time to be added to the end of proceedings. 6 minutes for the St. Paul's team to try to address this 1-0 deficit. This is Macy now clipping this one over toward McDonald. The offside flag stays down. Support now arriving in the form of Fraser. And Macy. Macy went for the spectacular, when perhaps a bit more composure might have sufficed and assisted the Guyana Defence Force to add to this 1-0 lead. In the meantime, this is St. Paul's coming forward. This is one of the leader brothers, Jovan. Possession again turned over, but it's back with St. Paul's now. This is Clark, Kalunji Clark. 2 runners ahead of him. Both had been straying offside. That's Osborne now, clearing it away. The Guyana Defence Force will want to push their opponents deeper and deeper into their own half as added time wears on. This is Freeman though. Does get a modicum of space in and behind that Guyana Defence Force back line. But now they come forward. This is Docker. Macy continues his run. He has McDonald. in support. He goes for goal himself, and what a goal, what a crack, Macy. He's really deserved it. He's been the creative force for this Guyana Defence Force team, especially in the second half, and this time continuing his run and deciding he didn't need the assistance of McDonald, and just leathers that one beyond the outstretched arms of Yuzal Hodge in goal for the St. Paul's United Strikers. 2-0 now to the Guyana Defence Force. That goal scored in added on time and certainly puts this game to bed. In the meantime, they make 2 substitutions, the Guyana Defence Force. McDonald is out. In is number 15. That's Jaden Harris. And the other substitution would have seen finally a replacement coming in for Philip Nelson. And that player is number 4, Threvon Pluck. A bit of a dust-up between these players. Frustrations materializing. Tensions rising toward the end of play, requiring the intervention of referee Pennyfeather. He'll certainly consult with his assistant referee on that far side, who is Angelo Doyle, for a clearer picture of what exactly led to that small skirmish. And they will consult now. A yellow card is shown to Ian Docker of the Guyana Defence Force. In added on time, so perhaps a really needless and senseless occurrence, but it allows the St. Paul's Strikers their latest opportunity for a free kick. They're going to launch it forward. Several red shirts. Freeman, one of them. This now is Darren Thomas. Gets it out to Karik Thomas, but it's given away. And here now come the Guyana Defence Force through their latest substitution. Number 15, giving chase. Jaden Harris. Schultz gets it back to Harrigan. He gives it away. This is Kalonji Clark picking it up now for the St. Paul's team. Karik Thomas. Ahead of him is Freeman, and across is Liebert. Instead, he goes back to Jackiel Docker, or Leader rather. Leader gives it away. He's hustled off of it by Quincy Fraser. This now is the man who's provided the cushion for the Guyana Defence Force, Macy. And then now headed away by Pluck. So added time, just about running out. Time running out on this St. Paul's Strikers, as Harrigan gets it away for a throw-in. The Guyana Defence Force just moments away from securing a 2-0 win to begin their campaign in this CFU Club Shield. A tidy performance, and that's it. The final whistle giving them the result that they would have wanted to start this Club Shield tournament on the front foot. The Guyana Defence Force 2, the St. Paul's United Strikers 0. That's the way it ends here at the Larry Gomes Stadium, Malabar Arena, in match number 1 of the 2025 CFU Shield competition. So we're here with goal scorer in match number 1 of this CFU Club Shield, Chris Macy of the Guyana Defence Force. You all left it a bit late to put this game to bed. Certainly, though, you would be happy for the 3 points. Yeah, of course we are happy. You know, the condition have given us a little fight, but we overcome it and we conquer it. You know, it was an intense game and we tried our best to win it and we got the results. What are you thinking as you bore down on goal there for your item? You had the support of McDonald across, but you went for it yourself. Yeah, after the keeper deceived me for 2 times, I said in my mind for the 3rd time, I will definitely score. I see my support, but I see my teammate was moving a little bit slow. So I had to go fit for myself, and I had a lot of confidence. And just finally, a couple of injuries there to some key players, including skipper Colin Nelson. You know, any worry about that heading into the 2nd game of this tournament? Yeah, it's definitely a bit of worry because that's one of our main players. You know, that's our skipper, so we definitely depend upon him, and we hope him recover faster. All right, well, congratulations and all the best to you and the Guyana Defence Force for the remainder of this CFU Club Shield tournament. That's it here from the Larry Gomes Stadium touch side for match number 1. Stay tuned for highlights and a preview of the 2nd match.